Hello, and welcome once again. Today, I'm going to be playing this 4X strategy game that's kind of simple, relatively speaking, compared to most... Okay, that's an outside thing. Compared to most 4X strategy games, like it's much more board gamey, and I thought it was interesting, and it's not a super complex game, so playing it sort of as a background to talk over might work well. I have barely played it. I haven't even beat the last part of the story campaign because I'm bad. But I'm gonna do this because there's 3, which seems easier. And by easier, I mean more controlled. I don't even know which one I am. Oh, do I have to pick one? Yeah, I have to pick one. So, let's start here. Proud of their urban luxury, but have forgotten how to fight. Courageous. Flags cost 1 less food. Units cost less. Wealth tax cost more. Reducing waste costs more. Interesting. Growing cities cost less. Food tax cost less. Food tax cost 2 less. I'm just gonna go with this because it's easy apparently. And I do it on novice because I'm bad. That seems kind of... Wait. I'm wondering if... I'll start on student, because that seems like a decent place to start, but I can place on the background. I'll talk about stuff that I've read recently. Some of that... Let's just figure out what this... So I think I want forests. I can't get forests, so... River's pretty good. Let's go for that. I'm not very good at this game at all. I'm just doing this stuff because I don't know what I should do. Let's leave that sitting, and so I have 11 more. Get 3, 3, 5. Yeah. Yes, this game is crazy to me. I don't know enough about it, but I'm gonna try. While playing, I'm gonna try and talk about some of what I've read recently, which hasn't been exceptionally interesting. Like there hasn't been much general story progress. That's probably good. But outside of the somewhat limited lack of stories I've read, I've been paying a little more attention to the various Pathfinder things to read, and I remembered some stuff that I wanted to talk about the other day. So I'm going to... I really don't like the way this map looks. I have 10 more, but interesting. But what was noteworthy, Pathfinder. Okay, I'm struggling to think. This game takes more brain energy, more brain power than I was thinking it did. Not that it takes a ton, but it's much more than I thought. Let's just leave that. Let's remove that, put one more here. But stuff I've read recently, I think the only thing really almost somewhat noteworthy was the fact that the TTRPG focused book has not had, like, it had a second story. Like what I thought in the last chapter, what I thought was the like potential future wasn't actually the potential future plot. It was actually just on different characters' perspective. I don't know how this works, but undo all those. But it was an alternate perspective. So the current chapter that was released was the start of an alternate future story. And I think of the ones so far, it's probably my least favorite because it doesn't do much. Okay, that's probably determined by power, which is the combat mechanism. Okay, that's not happening. But it's... I'm genuinely incapable of rational thought for some reason. What am I trying to think? Yes, the TRPG story. It's the alternate story is my least favorite so far because it, in a way, serves as a less... Actually, I could remove that. It doesn't... It presents a future... I wish I could claim these. It presents a future that's kind of... I think the emphasis of it is a little less interesting to me. It has an emphasis on, like, female characters in the way that often is the case for stories that have an emphasis on harems, which is less appealing. Like, there's a whole weird dynamic in the story that I think is very uninteresting to me. And I think it's kind of... It's a fictional side story. It's acceptable as a potential future story, but it's not... It didn't present any new or interesting ideas to the story. All that I felt it did was add a it kind of was just a bad end sort of story, which I find it's relevant, but it's not very interesting. But it was fine. There's ones that have been far better, but and it was the weakest one, but it was functional as a story. But most of the other stuff that I've read hasn't been memorable at all. But I'm just gonna use that right away. I should really claim these just to get this progressed. Okay, this seems actually like it might be easy, relatively speaking. What I want to do is I can get more food gen and stuff. I can spend this to get this to push up there. I could get another one, but I think I would rather spend the money on that. but yeah, of what I've read, there's not been a ton. But in the Pathfinder stuff that I wanted to talk about, that I remembered after last time, I remembered that what I remembered was I need to build a city in Grassland. What I remembered was that there's a ton of adventure paths, which are just like regenerated stories in the world, in the Galarian world, and like what they do, what some of them have very interesting like worlds that have been built up, interesting plot lines, interesting stories that they establish. Like there was one that was more interesting than the others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but sorry, I need to use this. But the I can't remember which story it was specifically. Oh yes, there's an entire adventure path in the first edition of Pathfinder specifically, where like the whole story is traveling through. Why do I have two? How do I have two? Oh, because some of these are worth 2, and you need 9. Okay. But the entire story is about I should be able to protect that pretty easily. The entire story is about having to travel to real Earth, because in the overarching world of this story, Earth as we know it is an actual like accessible place. No, I shouldn't do that yet. I should. Oh. It's like you can travel to Earth, and the whole plot is they need to travel to Earth to deal with, I can't remember if it was specifically Baba Yaga, but like if that was the enemy or if the enemy was Rasputin. One of those is the enemy, and I think that it's kind of wild that that exists. I think it's great that it exists, and so there's some of these, what exists within the stories are, there are some that are absolutely wild, and I think it has a great place in just telling funny stories. And some of these stories, there's one that people kind of disliked because it initially seemed like it was a circus plot, but it spoilers, the one that's a circus plot isn't actually a circus story. It eventually becomes like a dive into the like previous leader of humanity's terrible actions, and how they did they carry out a genocide? They carried out something at least approaching a genocide, and the adventure path eventually focuses on dealing with that fact, that they did all this terrible stuff, despite him being like the good leader of humanity who eventually died. Presumably through his own hubris, but it was an interesting thing to learn that there's a story like that. And so, I find it very cool. Conquer a plane space. That's pretty good, actually. Yes, it's an interesting story. I need more power. So I need to figure out what spaces I need to control. Sorry, I've been distracted from what I'm trying to... Okay, so that's that. These are plains, these are mountains. So I want desert and normal land, but I also want mountain. What is something that I don't need to level up? I don't need ocean, because I don't have any oceans. I don't need a ton of forest, because most of my forests are up here. So I definitely need to level up my mountain power. And I could get more food. I'm just gonna build a bunch of random cities. I don't know if there's a benefit to it, but actually let's check here. Power technologies, so that's the upgrades that use this on the far right. Power is this number. I don't know how you gain power. It might just be purchasing it. It might be a number of armies, I'm not sure. Wealth is this. Spaces is just spaces. Armies are armies. Population is amongst all the cities. And this is capturing a city. But this is progress. Okay, they defend as well. I think the biggest thing I need is to figure out how to get more power. Conquer forest space. Reduce power waste to 50%. Each power costs 1 less. Reduce power waste to 50% or less. Do I want to commit more here instead of here? Is that how it works? I don't think I really need to worry about that too much. Let's just... If I stick at 3 there, that might be what I'm looking for. I need more military might, or I need to upgrade my protection of those types of areas. If I protect rivers more strongly, what I should do is move this guy over. And just accept loss of that spot, maybe. But I don't understand this game properly. So I want more mountain power. Or hills power. Hills, grassland, river. I think I want river more because protecting along this river would be good. Look at that. If I move this guy over 1, I should be able to protect that space there. I think. Yes. Wait. Yes, I'm protecting those 2 spaces at least. I don't know how power works. Like, I don't know how you get to like 18 power, but... I don't know if there's a benefit to upgrading those other than population, but I'm distracted. Yes, there's a bunch of cool benefits, but what I'm also thinking of looking at, or talking about for a bit, is how there's a ton of different there is a ton of different Pathfinder, 2nd edition, I'm not sure about 1st edition, has a cool mechanism through which it like handles sort of multi-classing, kind of, compared to like D&D. I don't think it's objectively better, but I think it's interesting how it does, it handles like sort of multi-classes through, maybe this is just, I don't know if that's the right thing to ever buy. Power in Desert. But it handles sort of multi-class equivalents via archetypes, and the way that archetypes exist allows for a lot more, it allows for broader applications of the system compared to like multi-classes, because multi-classing is focused on classes. I really want to do this. Can I do both? I don't think I can. I think I need this more. More desert upgrade. I want more plains. I really don't know if upgrade, like placing cities, has any value at this stage. Do you have any other use for food? I don't think so. Like, I can grow cities, but I don't think there's any other use for food. Do you have a challenge that requires placing a city? Own 3 cities and plains. Yes, I should just place cities and plains. But the archetypes lead for more uses, and there are... the system uses archetypes as a means to, like, create like sub groups. Like there is there's like a ghost archetype, so you can be a dwarf ghost or some similar function by which you I kind of want to use it all in this stuff. There's some, it has stuff to make it so you can modify your class. Like there's a ghoul archetype, which is which has an additional interesting facet with how you can become a ghoul via a status effect that can be applied to you. But after like a month or something, you die. And if you die in that way, you get turned into a ghoul. And like that's a lot of interesting... It's an interesting idea to me. 50 and 20, that's totally worth it. Because I need power the most right now, I think. I need to research more power. I want plains and river and hills. I want everything. So I have 4. I should just upgrade this stuff so that I can get, like, actually capitalize on this, because this is all valuable. Because I could be getting so much more income, but I'm just not upgrading this. This is all going to power. That's maximized. And so other than purchasing more armies, I'm done with that. So now I just need to get more city population up. Because more population means more income from this stuff. Okay, that means it's worthwhile. But yeah, like the ghoul. I think ghouls in this are very. I don't think there's anything unique about the interpretation of ghouls in Pathfinder. What was that? The minus something there. I could get another army. I think that's the only thing I can use this for. And I think I will use that to push into here. This guy will go there. Yes, ghouls I think are fairly mundane in terms of their reality. Actually, liches in this are kind of neat because it's a clear implementation of a player character, like a viable player character lich, which is not common, and I think that I find it really interesting. Where's the cheapest ones? 85s. I could have upgraded that for 60. Like, you can become a lich, and it doesn't work with like a soul gem, but it works with a soul cage, so it's a little bit of a change from a common idea. With like, oh, it was a city that used to be there, I think. Oh, I'm at 6. But I'm gonna claim that. So I need 3 more power techs, 8 more power, and I think I win it. I only need 1 more to win. So really, I need any of those and I win. Easiest one would just be to sit and gain wealth. How close are they? They need 2 more points, which would need wealth or power technology. So I should be fine to stall a little to get more stats and stuff. I only need 3 more power. I think getting at that so that I can win with 1 more purchase is fine. I just kind of want to do the whole expansion element to this game that I haven't actually seen properly. Because like, I didn't understand how power actually properly worked in this game. I should move this guy up to keep him from taking my land. He's about to take that. So I could probably move this guy up here. Upgrade this for 1. I have to keep an eye on this guy so he doesn't beat me first. Yeah, this game's more interesting now that I'm sort of figuring out how power works a little. I mean, that would be an instant win. I think I might just finish this game, because I think I figured out how power works to an okay extent. At the end of this turn, you'll spend that to buy 7. Like, yeah. So it seems like power... Okay, so power is a function of... the number of units you like. Power, the price of power is based on your units. It's like the more units you have, the more expensive power is. Like power is, I guess the power value you have is a baseline that is then it is added bonuses and projected from your warriors and stuff. Or no, it's not the baseline. The baseline that I'm seeing in like the deserts is coming from cities and like proximity to other stuff, as well as the bonuses from the power upgrades. The power number itself seems like it is just, that's the power value of 11 seems to be what's projected by the armies, probably. Let's just finish this game and that's what we'll be done for today, assuming this finishes it. Yes, I think it finishes end of turn. We'll also own one more city in a grassland. That's should be another power tech, but it's not. Oh, it's been a grassland power tech? So that's that game. Interesting.
Look on my works, ye
it's a cool game.
And despair.
Like, it's quick. It's kind of exactly what I look for in these style of games, because in these I always look for, like, I don't look deeply into the numbers. I'm just like, build this, get that. So this is very streamlined and it's quick. But it's cool. I can keep playing as is. I'm not going to, but that's where I'm done for today. I didn't talk about anything that I deeply because I'm bad at focusing, because this game took a lot more focus than I thought. So I might not try to play it again. Because even if, like, it's not reaction based, it's thinking based. So it's a little bit more difficult to think, but like, I wanted to talk about the different, like, there's a mummy archetype in Pathfinder that, like, you can be like, it's all about being dead. This is from a specific book called the Book of the Dead. Well, Book of the Dead, not the. But it's all about, like, you can be any of the species, and, well, I think pretty much any of the species, and then you can become a mummy. And that has different potential skills, well, not skills, feats is what they're called, but. And then there's a skeleton race, well, ancestry, which I assume you can't be a skeleton and take the mummy dedication. Like, there probably should be some special rule against taking the mummy dedication if you're, like, a skeleton, because you can't really mummify a skeleton. But most other ancestors, well, there's actually like there's robot ancestries that wouldn't be able to become a mummy in reality, so I don't know how it handles it. Yeah, there's lots of cool things that allow for storytelling within this system that I think does a better job at compared to D&D, though D&D is a lot easier to just, like, Pathfinder is very rules heavy, which I personally find appealing because I like having everything, this is how it works, and D&D is more freeform, but that's not relevant to what I was trying to talk about. But that's what I'm talking for today, because I also need to rest my throat. Throat or vocal cords? Probably vocal cords, because this morning was like 4 hours when I played. I'm trying to check. When streaming, separately streaming, it was 4.5 hours, a large portion of which was talking, so it's probably in my best interest to rest my throat a little extra. That's where I'm stopping for today. Bye, and I'll be back.